If you thought part 1 was bad, buckle up. The Dybbuk Box doesn't care about your disbelief. It doesn't care if you think this is just a story, because the experiences have been documented again and again, a chain of horror stretching across decades. And the question isn't if it's real, it's what would you do if it was yours? Some owners reported a sensation that's hard to describe. Like the box knows your weaknesses. It preys on guilt, anger, and your deepest regrets. One owner started seeing reflections of people he felt he had wronged. They are ghostly images appearing in mirrors and windows when he least expected it. Another started hearing the voice of a lost loved one calling his name, beckoning him to the edge. Literally, it's emotional manipulation, psychological warfare. It's intimate, it's personal. And that S, what separates the Dybbuk Box from other haunted objects, S, not a ghost that jumps out at you. It's a ghost that gets inside you. It finds the cracks in your sanity and pries them open, one by one. It doesn't need to show you a monster. It just helps you become your own. The terror isn't external. It's a slow, creeping invasion of your very soul, turning your own mind into a prison. Think about the most unsettling horror films you've ever seen. The ones that stuck with you weren't about the jump scares. They were about the atmosphere, the growing sense of dread, the feeling that something is profoundly wrong. The Dybbuk Box is the real-world embodiment of that feeling. It isn't filled with some dramatic, theatrical demon. It's subtle. It's patient. It whispers your name in an empty room. It makes you question if the shadow in the corner of your eye was just a trick of the light. It's the cold spot in an otherwise warm house. Each incident, on its own, could be dismissed, see? But together, they create a tapestry of pure psychological torment. It's a masterclass in slow-burn horror, and the victims are living it, minute by agonizing minute. The box doesn't have to do much. It just has to plant a seed of doubt, and then watch as your own fear does the rest of the work. Then there's the box itself. It's small, old, carved with symbols that feel ancient and vaguely threatening. But inside, nothing. Mostly. Just a few trinkets, maybe old wine corks, a dried rosebud, a lock of hair. But the fact that it's almost empty is the scariest part. What S, terrifying ISNT? What S in the box it S? What it doesn't need to show you to hurt you? That's classic horror storytelling. Leave the mind to fill in the blanks. And the more people speculate, the more powerful its legend becomes. The emptiness is a canvas, and the box invites your worst fears to paint on it. Is the spirit trapped inside? Or is the box merely a key? A portal that unlocks something that was already there, dormant, within you. The lack of answers is maddening. Think about it. Every story you've read, every legend you've heard about haunted objects, they're scary because they make you imagine the worst. A cursed doll is scary not because of the doll itself, but because of what you imagine it does when you're not looking. A haunted house isn't just creaking floorboards. It's the story you tell yourself about who is making those sounds. The Dybbuk Box takes that to a new level. It uses your own mind against you. It's a mirror, reflecting your own personal hell back at you. And in an age of information, where every story and every shred of folklore is just a click away, the legend grows stronger with every person who reads about it, every person who shares it, every person who shivers at the thought of it. Samat. We are all, in a way, feeding it. And here's where things go sideways. One collector, after repeated attacks, documented a strange phenomenon. The box would move on its own, not just falling off a shelf, but truly relocating. It would end up in places he couldn't possibly have left it. Once it was found on the roof of his house, sitting there as if waiting for him. Another time it appeared inside his bathtub, the lid slightly ajar. And always the feeling followed him. The dread, the whispers just at the edge of hearing. The suffocating sense that something malevolent was watching, judging, waiting for the perfect moment to tighten its grip. It's one thing to deal with a haunted object that stays put. It's another thing entirely when the object seems to be actively, intelligently stalking you within your own home. The randomness is part of the terror. It's almost as if it chooses when to strike, and who. That's where the moral ambiguity comes in again. Is it targeting people at random, or is it punishing them for something? For curiosity, for the greed of wanting to own such a notorious artifact, for the arrogance of disbelief. The Dybbuk Box doesn't explain itself. It offers no rules, no motives, and that's what keeps you awake at night. That's what makes you question, if I found it, would I survive? Would my skepticism protect me, or would it make me a prime target? It forces you to confront a terrifying possibility that there are forces in this world that operate on a logic so alien, so incomprehensible, that we are utterly defenseless against them. The stories escalate. Owners suffer extreme, unexplainable illnesses that baffle doctors. Long-standing relationships crumble under the weight of paranoia and fear. Businesses fail. Fortunes are lost. Some people just disappear, vanish from their lives, leaving behind only the stories of their torment and the small, unassuming wooden box. Kevin Manis, the man who started it all, eventually sold it to a museum curator, hoping to end the cycle of suffering. But even in the sterile, controlled environment of a museum, the story continues. Staff reported sudden feelings of intense coldness in the room where it was kept, waves of nausea that would pass as soon as they left, and the faint sound of whispers in empty hallways. It's relentless, immortal maybe, and that's the cruel brilliance of it. It doesn't kill in obvious, cinematic ways. It doesn't need to. It manipulates. It torments. It eats away at your sanity slowly, methodically, until there's nothing left of the person you used to be. And this is where curiosity kills more than the cat. People are fascinated by the unknown. They want to own it, study it, challenge it, prove it's a hoax. But the Dybbuk Box, it seems to reward that curiosity with suffering. It's a moral test. It's a psychological trap. And the fact that we can't explain it with science or logic, that's what makes it eternally horrifying. It's a chilling reminder that there are some doors that should never be opened. Here's the kicker. The legend of the Dybbuk Box is online now. Its story has spread across the globe, a digital ghost haunting the servers of the internet. Replicas are sold, and some people swear they've felt its presence, its cold influence, just by reading about it, just by inviting its story into their homes. The chain of horror continues, evolving for a new generation. And the scariest part, you can't unsee this. You can't unknow what you've just heard. The story is now a part of you. Cool, because maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there, the real Dybbuk Box is waiting for its next owner. And maybe, after hearing its story, after letting it into your thoughts, it's already chosen you. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into these dark corners of the world, make sure to follow and subscribe. Stay safe out there. Have you ever bought something online and thought, this is going to be cool, only to realize, maybe some things are better left alone? I'm talking about the Dybbuk Box, a wine cabinet. Nothing fancy, nothing special, except it's alive. Or at least, it wants you to think it is. By the time I tell you its story, you might start questioning every antique you've ever owned, every online auction you've ever clicked on. Because this box doesn't just contain objects, it contains darkness. So let's rewind. The Dybbuk Box first appears in history like your classic haunted object, vague origins, creepy legends, and whispered warnings. Supposedly, it belonged to a Holocaust survivor man whose family suffered unimaginable horrors. He packed this little wooden box with tiny objects, an old lock, some glass vials, and who knows what else, things that might have held memories, or curses, or spirits, or all three. The box itself, well, it's nothing fancy. Just a squat, dark wood box with a carved Star of David, but somehow it feels wrong. People describe an aura, like the air thickens around it, like it watches you. And that's when the real story begins. The first person who really brought it into the modern world was a collector named Kevin Manus. He bought it at an estate sale in the late 90s. Now, Kevin wasn't a fool, he collected oddities for a living. Dolls, cursed masks, haunted trinkets. But the Dybbuk Box, it changed him. He started noticing small things, minor scratches, weird sounds, the feeling of eyes on him in empty rooms. And then it escalated. He got sick. Suddenly, little things became terrifying. Shadow figures in mirrors. Nightmares that left him physically bruised. Objects moving when nobody was home. Even his friends noticed it. People describe a creeping dread, like the air is thicker, almost viscous. And yet, it's just a box. That's what makes it fascinating, it's mundane. It's a cheap wooden box, and yet it wreaks havoc. The contrast is exactly what makes your mind spiral. That's psychological terror. The kind that sticks with you long after the lights go out. Here's where it gets darker. Kevin decides to sell the box online like a normal eBay auction. And he includes a warning. Do not buy unless you're ready to face consequences. An obvious disclaimer, right? But curiosity is a powerful drug. People love the idea of testing fate. The box gets shipped to its next owner, a man named Jason. He's a skeptic, a collector, a thrill seeker. Jason posts updates online, and the nightmare begins. Pets die mysteriously. Lights explode. His apartment reeks of sulfur and decay. He wakes to deep scratches across his body. Jason starts questioning his own sanity. Did he invite something inside by owning it? Or was it always there, just waiting? Dybbuk, in Jewish folklore, is a malicious spirit that attaches itself to a person, usually to settle unfinished business. The more you resist, the worse it gets. That's what makes this story so psychologically gripping. You can't reason with it. You can't bargain. And yet, people try. Jason tried everything. Exorcisms, burning sage, prayers. None of it worked. It was relentless. People online argued over its authenticity. Skeptics said it was an elaborate marketing ploy. But here's the thing, every person who owned it reported consistent phenomena. Consistent. That's why the story feels real. Authenticity creeps in through repetition, and if you're listening, that authenticity is the first seed of fear in your mind, because it could happen to you. Then comes the weirdest part. The box apparently chooses its owner. Jason tried giving it away. He tried burning it. Nothing worked. The box ended up with someone else, who reported even stranger events. Who? This person started hearing voices telling them to do unspeakable things. They resisted, but the box didn't care. And here's the moral ambiguity. At some point, the box isn't just a haunted object. It's a test. Does the owner act morally? Or do they give in to the darkness? And that's just the beginning. Because what really makes the Dybbuk Box terrifying isn't the scratches, the nightmares, the pets, or even the shadows. It's the questions it leaves behind. Questions about fate, about choice, about whether some objects are alive. In part 2, we'll dive into the true horrors, the inexplicable events, the people who didn't survive, and the dark, twisted chain of ownership that makes this box more than just haunted, but something sentient. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching.